Santiago, Chile. Where's that? Santiago. So, Santiago de North Dakota.
And now Popoff and going side by side in the battle for second as they come down into turn number 8. That's Haladillo on the inside, Popoff on the outside, still side by side through turn number 8. Still side by side as they exit line, coming down onto the front straightaway. It looks like Haladillo's going to that second spot. Behind the 55 of Alex Popoff. Battle going on for second. They're playing swap and chop, and that's allowed Huerta to open up a bit of a gap here on this second lap as they peel off at turn number 3. That is an incredible three-way fight. Cooper Shipman shuffled back into that 4th place position after winning the race here this morning. So if he's going to go back-to-back, John Phippen, he's going to really have to earn it as they exit Moss Corner and head up that Andretti straightaway. Everybody chasing the young Chilean driver Clemente Huerta in car number 17. Then it is 29, Jaramillo in second, followed by 55, Popoff third, Cooper Shipman 14 and fourth, and Caleb Campbell rounds out your top 5. Popoff looking racy, trying to make the move on Huerta, or Jaramillo, to try to move up into that second spot, but he falls back into the second as we've got the top 4 cars in one group, and then the second 4 cars in the second group. Caleb Campbell at the front of that. Turn number 2, Clayton Corner, and then immediately back to the right for Quebec Corner as the battle continues at the back of the pack as we've got a car off wide. Let's see, I think that might be the 88. That is Oliver Savoy once again going a little bit wide. Again, he had a problem on the first lap of his first race with us. Once again, still fighting the limits on that race car as we turn our attention back to this lead battle. Once again, Kai Jaramillo battling with Clemente Huerta, who got off to a good start. Here's Huerta in the 17, Jaramillo in the 29, Alex Popoff in the 55, in this great three-way battle between Campbell, Powers, and Nolan for 5th, 6th, and 7th. But the lead battle, once again, Shipman trying to get the move on Alex Popoff to retake that 3rd spot. Shipman with a 5
jeopardy as he's back and forth. No, he's got the pace to run at the front here, but can he get through the track like Williams did?
Right now, still sitting back there in fourth. He'll take a look on the inside and will follow. It is Huerta in car number 17 holding off Javanillo, who does have the fastest lap of the race, a minute 21.786. He just turned that on lap number 3, but this is extremely close racing as they exit Moss Corner and head up that back straightaway. Javanillo trying to reel in the leader, Huerta in car number 17, and he is closing. Side-by-side battle going on here for that third place position as Cooper Shipman will give it another run. He'll dive in on the inside, going into turn number 8. Pop-off right there, and into 9. Shipman will take over that third place spot. An incredible battle between these two young drivers. The front running Ford at exit turn 10 went down the start finish straightaway on number 4 towards that line of 4. With the second place runner of Clemente Huerta, who is the early leader in that number 17 car. And now we've got Javanillo at the front and Shipman in second, with Huerta back to third. A lot of overtaking here in the early stages. This race has been a dandy at the first time. These four cars locked together, nose to tail. Here comes Papa popping to the outside as they cross the line. Just ahead of 14 Shipman, Clemente Huerta, who led early, going from first all the way into third on that previous lap, and then it is the 55 of Alex Popoff. No, Popoff has moved around into third, so Huerta goes from first all the way down into fourth. I'm not sure if he's got any kind of an issue with the race car, and here's a side-by-side battle for the lead under the Canadian Tire Bridge. And Cooper Shipman, who was fourth early in this race, has gone all the way into the lead, looking to double up here in Formula 4.
Been at this racetrack twice, once in 2017 with the F1 Championship technology. Now Kyle Dunwood swept the lead last year. David Murphy swept those congratulations twice. Of this battle between Shipman and Javanillo as they head down into straight in.
Those four cars halfway up the Andretti straightaway. We've got a battle going on for fifth. It is 51. Luke Powers in that fifth place spot. 68, Caleb Campbell 6. Dimitri Nolan, car number 5 is 7. And then Oliver Savoy, car number 88 is the last car on the tail end of the field. Out of turn 10, they come back to the line. This will be 7 laps completed. At the end of this one.
Powers running in that fifth spot, leading the second group. Luke's best finish so far has been a pair of fifths at New Jersey Motorsports Park. He finished 7th in the race earlier this morning, so Powers will match his best finish of the season if he can stay in that fifth spot. As Cooper Shipman, as we mentioned, setting the fast lap of the race at the front. Howardeo in second, Boboff third, Huerta spot.
All four of those drivers, in fact, the top 5, all with their fastest laps.
Second one in the early stages of this one as he went off at the outside of turn number 2. So he may be a little more circumspect here, just getting the car under him, realizing that he's maybe pushing his luck just a little bit. His pace on the last lap, a 124.545 compared to the leader, Cooper Shipman, setting the fast lap of the race at a 120.823. As they work their way through this battle at the front, as it looks like Clemente Huerta, a little resurgent here, trying to get back on the podium if he can. As he's closing up on the back of Alex Boboff, who currently holds that third spot. Up on by these other three.
Looked very strong early, but once he got shuffled back there, and boy, with these cars, you look at the run out of Moss Corner, that tells you everything in terms of the terminal velocity at the end of that Andretti straightaway, and then they'll carry that down into turn number 8, single file going in as that 17 car of Clemente Huerta still right there, but up front Cooper Shipman is chipping away at the lead. That's about 2/10 quicker than Howardeo and
most wins. I think we had 8 wins in a row from Cameron Doss in the 2016 series. So once again, Cooper Shipman is approaching record territory here with what looks like it might be 6 consecutive victories. I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but he is certainly looking strong. And we're getting reports from around the track that there may be some loose bodywork on the 88 of Oliver Savoy after that long track excursion on the outside of turn 2 in the early going here. Again, the team had to thrash and get that car back together. Shipman continues to stretch his advantage up to a 1.5 seconds now over Howard Hill. Pop off another 0.5 second back, and then about 0.6 back to Clemente Huerta. As we get a good look at that 88 car, everything looks good to me. I don't see anything obvious flopping in the breeze there. Maybe there's just some racer stamp or something that they saw early on. But now look at this three-way battle behind me. As Howard Hill has been caught by both Pop off and Huerta. So this is a 3-car battle for the second. Holding on to the number 2 spot, Pop off 55 in third, and then Huerta in car number 17. All 3 of those drivers trying to chase down Shipman, but he is disappearing from this race. Under fire from Huerta, who is in the draft. He's going to pull up alongside. He's going to try to go around on the outside into turn number 8. They're side by side through the right-hander. Can't get it done. He'll have to tuck in. But this is a monumental battle for that final podium spot between the 55 of Alex Popoff and the 17 of Clemente Huerta. As I look at the video coverage, Huerta has finished third in the last 3 races, sweeping the third place position. For this race, and maybe challenge Kekai for the 2nd spot as those 2 battling. I think, with perhaps a little bit realizing that he's coming under pressure from the early leader and the pole sitter Clemente Huerta, and that's allowing Paladillo to have a little breathing room as he is still running about 1.5 seconds behind Shipman. He's matching his lap time. In fact, on that last lap was about 10 quicker than the leader. Remember, we're about 2/3 of the way through this 30-minute race, just about 10.5 minutes remaining. Race leader Cooper Shipman completes lap number 2.5 seconds.
comes in on the inside into turn number 10, coming right back at him, and they're going to go side by side. This will be a drag race going to the straight.
So all of a sudden, Alex Popoff resurgent up in the second spot. Fantastic show. Meanwhile, Cooper Shipman looking in his mirror saying, you guys just go right ahead with that battle. I'm going to walk away to a 2.5 second lead here. And that's exactly what is happening. Putting on a good show here as they exit Moss and make the run in the long Mario Andretti straightaway. Let's see who's got the best drafting performance as they're going to make that He's right on the tail of Alanillo as they come into turn 8. Huerta on the inside, Alanillo on the outside, wheel-to-wheel action, and then Alanillo off the brakes just a little bit later and able to maintain that position. Huerta letting it know he is right there. That gives Popoff just a little bit of breathing room in second as they cross the The battle between Luke Powers and Dimitri Nolan a little deeper in the back. This time, Powers able to answer the challenge from Nolan and is a little bit faster this time. Is compelling indeed as Shipman now over 3 seconds out in front of this battling group.
Number 14 to just split. He's opened up over 3 seconds on the 55 of Alex Popoff, who is right there with Kike Hawanillo in front of the 29 and the 17. We worked lap number 17, and just a little bit less than 7 minutes remaining here is the 14 of Shipman. He comes back to the line, completing his 17th lap. We'll check the margin. It was 3.1 seconds. Into the wall by the 17 of Huerta.
That's going to bring out a safety car for sure. That's going to take Huerta tried to save it, but unfortunately
I got that. I got that. Score one.
Just in case any of those fluids come alight, as there may have been a report from one of the quarter marshals of a little flame, but it doesn't look like anything significant as the marshals continue to the stranded car of Clemente Huerta. That will promote Luke Powers up in the 4th spot, and Dimitri Nolan right behind him as Nolan was closing down on Powers to make that battle, and it looks like they're going to dispatch one of the ambulances just as a safety precaution to make sure that up now behind the safety car. So to catch her breath, Cooper Shipman, after being dropped back to 4th in the early going, has recovered with grand fashion to retake the lead. Went from 4th to the lead in a matter of a couple laps. Was driving away, had over a 3-second advantage, and just as this yellow flag came out, Alex Popoff running in 2nd. Nikolai Howell in 3rd. Luke Powers now up to 4th. He stays there. That'll be his best finish of the season. Dimitri Nolan in 5th. Caleb Campbell 6th. Oliver Savoy 7th. And Huerta obviously will not continue from turn number 1. Will be this year.
Of course, this team the clock shows 3.5 minutes remaining, so I'm pretty sure this one is going to get the checkered flag under the full Porsche yellow, and that will give Cooper Shipman his 2nd win of the day. He'll be going for the sweep here tomorrow morning. Remember, this will be the first race up on the schedule at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. A little later start to our race day here tomorrow. That'll also feature the Endzone Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin. The championship on the line there between Brady Topham and Kenny Reedman. We also have our Formula Regional Americas Championship, our 3rd race of the weekend. And then also with the championship on the line, the Nissan Sentra Cup cars will be out here at 12:25 tomorrow afternoon. We'll then get into our lunch break and our opening ceremonies and a scheduled 2 o'clock start to the WeatherTech 200 NASCAR Canada Series race. Just looking down to the flagger stand as Martin Silva in that Corvette Chase car.
Just heard from race control checkers this time back.
Right there is the safety car, and there is the checkered flag. This one will go official. Cooper Shipman pulls off the daily double here. Alex Popoff will finish 2nd as he did in the race this morning. That'll be Kike Hawanio, who was 4th this morning. He will get promoted up into 3rd here in race number 2. Hopefully, Shipman will be on the pole looking to sweep all 3 of our F4 United States Championship races.
Again, a testament to these drivers for putting on a great battle here. We feel bad for Clemente Huerta, but you know, we talked about this, Pat. I've used the term heroic multiple times this weekend. This heroic racetrack does not favor mistakes of any kind. Even the slightest little miscue can really cause an issue for any of these drivers, and they have to respect this racetrack. And, you know, that little bobble by Huerta, unfortunately, caused him to lose control of the car and into the barrier. And we understand that there will be a repair to the tire wall as they recover that disabled car of Clemente Huerta, which is why the race director made the decision to checker this one early. So once again, fantastic racing, one of the best races of the season between these 8 drivers. And the 4 in the front just put on a fantastic show as we're getting a replay of that on the video screen. And finally, with Cooper Shipman taking over the top spot from Kekai Hawanio, Alex Popoff made a late battle change to take over that 2nd spot from Hawanio. And just fantastic racing. And unfortunately, they go 3 wide across the start-finish line when Popoff took the lead. And for a brief moment there, it looked like Clemente Huerta was going to be able to get on the podium once again, but unfortunately, that little bobble on the next lap put him off into the barrier at the exit of turn 1. Pat, I'll get out of the way. I know you've got NASCAR Pit of the qualifying coming up next. We'll see you at the first thing out tomorrow morning for the finale for these drivers of the F4 United States Championship this weekend, presented by the MOSPORT Karting Center. we'll see you tomorrow morning for the finale for F2, or F4, should we say. And then just after the Radical Cup finale, we'll have the Formula Regional America's last race of the weekend at 11:40 tomorrow morning. Thanks for having me along.
Looking forward to working with John Pippin. A couple of more races tomorrow. We'll have our 4 races that will go here tomorrow morning. The final of those, the Nissan Sentra Cup, will be at 12:25. We'll then get into our lunch break and our opening ceremonies and the NASCAR Canada autograph session. We will let you know exactly when and where that is going to take place tomorrow, but before that, those drivers preparing to roll out here to qualify for the WeatherTech 200. Adam Ross will be joining us here in the announcer's booth very, very shortly. The CTMP marketplace should be wrapping up at around 5 o'clock, but I think it'll be open for a while yet. The kids fun zone, that will reopen tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, but it'll still be open for about another 30 minutes. The beer garden, of course, into the our big concert coming up with the band, the Rhythm Review, our big fireworks display tonight as well, and then the CTMP marketplace with all of the various food vendors and the various displays, including Wally's yard sale, Fast Eddie Racewear. That's where you'll get.
We got the crash, boys.
NASCAR Canada
We got it.
Series, merchandise. And of course, the CTMP merchandise trailer next to the trackside grill. They've got some great looking event t-shirts. If you haven't grabbed yours yet, as well as CTMP gear, hats, hoodies, mugs, and more at the CTMP merchandise trailer. It will reopen tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So the NASCAR Canada Series, after a very interesting qualify or practice section earlier this afternoon, now prepare to go qualifying as the cars roll out of that pre-grid area up onto the hot pit road, as they will split the 28 cars officially entered in this weekend. That was the size of the entry back here in May, when Kyle Steckley put his car on the pole position, but now they'll split up the groups. Adam Ross will give us the exact format here for qualifying, but boy,
Not a crash,
that was
boys.
a very fast practice session earlier this afternoon, and we'll see whether or not those teams and drivers can roll right out of that practice and match or even better those times we saw in practice here during the qualifying sessions coming up. So this will be the final bit of on-track activity here today. Tomorrow morning we'll be on 10 a.m. with our first race, the Formula 4 United States Championship. Then at 10:45 tomorrow morning, with the championship to be decided, the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin. At 11:40 tomorrow morning will be the 30-minute Formula Regional America's Championship. John Pippin will be joining us for both that and the F4 race. And then the Nissan Sentra Cup that starts and completes their championship run right here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. They had 2 races back in May to kick off the season, and now they wrap up the championship for 2025 with their second race of the weekend set to go at 12:25 tomorrow afternoon. That'll take us into a lunch break around 1 o'clock, and then the WeatherTech 200 race, 51 laps, will roll off at 2 p.m. It'll be live on Red TV across Canada, but before that, we will set the grid, and we'll do that over the next 45 minutes as the cars get lined up here on pit road. At this time, I'd like to welcome back into the announcer's booth
maintenance, and that's what we want to see after a practice session. A couple of teams were changing transmissions. I believe the 88 of Simon Charbonneau, and more notably the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, who we will see when the fast group comes out, the third group. But the thing that shocks me still is Alex Tagliani beating the track record by half a second. I mean, this is a track we've been to repeatedly for many, many years. So to see that track record, and it's not officially broken unless it's done in qualifying, but it wouldn't surprise me if 6 drivers are under the track record.
Well, looking at the run here back in May, where it was the Kyle Steckley car that topped everybody in the qualifying session, started on the pole position. Steckley will be, I believe, in that final group to qualify this afternoon, as I think you probably got to go a long way back to find a year where the same driver who was fastest qualifier in May came back here on Labor Day weekend to pull off the same accomplishment. But they're getting all lined up. We should be on the track here shortly, and we'll run through the 3 qualifying groups. They elected to go with your suggestion, Adam, of 10, 9, and 9.
I don't think I have a whole lot of pull in that scenario, but yes, it'll be 10, 9, and 9. So the first session is going to be led out by the driver from Oswego, Glenn Stiers, behind the wheel of the Oswego Speedway. Glenn Stiers racing number 0. And that's impressive for Glenn. You know, this sport is all about competition, personal best. Sure, it's about winning. Racing is all about winning, but a lot of drivers here have different battles they want to win this weekend. And for Glenn Stiers to be the top, even of that bottom group of 10 drivers, that's great for him in practice. Jeff Lapsevich, the crew chief on that 0 car, he knows how to make a car fast here in CTMP. So Stiers going to lead that group out. Dexter Stacy in the 92, Daryl Timmers in the 85. Daryl Timmers has the legend Ron Easton turning the wrenches on the 85 this weekend. Trevor Hill in the 48, Larry Jackson in the 84, Dominic Scrivo